it feels like a race. You need timely care to be able to correct what needs to be corrected. It can't wait a week. It can't
Yeah.
wait 3 days. And that's why it's so good to get care established before you have your baby so that you know what to expect, so that you can have someone there so that they're anticipating it. It's so much easier to do that instead of feeling like you're in a race and you're scrambling.
I am so excited to welcome to today's show Whitney, the incredible force behind Milkwise. Whitney and her team are reshaping how we care for moms with everything from expert breastfeeding support to thoughtful, evidence-based education that really meets you where you are. Welcome to the show, Whitney. I am so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about your background and Milkwise, like what inspired you to start it?
Course, yeah. So I have been a nurse for a very long time and I fell in love with pediatrics, PICU, NICU. I always loved taking care of babies. It's been my favorite thing ever. I'm an RN and an IBCLC. After I had my daughter is when I went and got my IBCLC, which is the International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. So it's a gold standard for lactation consultants. Uh, because I had an extremely difficult time breastfeeding my daughter, and I felt so isolated and alone and really needing someone to just tell me that it was going to be okay. I very much luckily had my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law who are from a different culture than what I was raised in. And they were more about the village. They were more about being there, feeding me soup, taking care of me, letting me rest, and doing the holistic version of healing instead of our Americanized version of healing, where we just try to bounce back and get back to normal life. So that was a big shift for me, and it opened my eyes to the fragmented care system that we do have in the US, especially for mothers postpartum. So that's what inspired me to get my lactation consultant degree. And I had a completely different experience with my son. With my son, it was beautiful. I mean, we're still nursing. He's 2.5. A lot of
Oh,
people would
wow.
probably say, so that's way too long. And maybe it is, but I've taken a completely different approach to this because of my education with lactation. And it's it's actually inspired me to create that village for women in Los Angeles, because in Los Angeles, most people are transplants. Most people
Hmm.
come from different places. So we don't have our immediate families right next to us. We're also very segmented in the places that we live. Los Angeles is huge. It's very wide. It's very sprawling. It takes an hour to go 5 miles sometimes, and it's not easily accessible to things. So when you don't have your family right next to you, it makes it hard to be able to have that village. And there was one night where I had this vision of having a wall of soups where I had all these different soups from different cultures, and women would come and they would bring their babies and I would hand them a warm bowl of soup and I would invite them into my space and just, give them a break and give them nurturing and love and care. And it was pretty amazing because the next day I was contacted by Adi from Milkwise, and he talked about needing to close the gaps in lactation care and maternal care, specifically in LA, and wanting to create a holistic vision for that. And I immediately told them about my wall of soups. I told them about how I needed to nourish mothers and be the village. And we clicked right away and started really powering forward in building this platform, starting with lactation, to help mothers thrive in postpartum instead of struggle with many things, from pelvic floor to mental health to nutrition to just feeling isolated. So we started with lactation, and we have onboarded officially about 30 IBCLCs within the Los Angeles area, into San Diego as well. Yeah, we've seen about over 100 families already,
Wow.
and we're working with some doctors' offices. We're working with UCLA Health. We're working with a few different places that are helping us to access moms who really need the care and the support. And we're looking to expand out to, more services to be able to help moms in a more holistic way. But we have to start somewhere, and lactation was the perfect place to be.
That's beautiful. And maybe that's kind of where we can start off for you to dive a little bit deeper. into the topic of lactation support and like if
Mhm.
I'm a new mom or mom to be and I don't really know like do I need that and when do I know that I need that and what do lactation experts do for me?
Yeah. So a lot of moms, including myself, thought this is going to be natural. It's going to be a very natural thing for me to do. Like that's how the human race has survived. Like breastfeeding should be fine. But it's not. We kind of lost that ability to see our mothers breastfeed, to see our aunties breastfeed, to see our grandmothers even breastfeed and learn it through watching. And it's a maternal ancestral knowledge that has been passed down through generations, but it's been lost by our ability to industrialize society, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I would very much encourage every mom who thinks that she might want to breastfeed to take a breastfeeding course. It doesn't have to be the 3 hour long courses. Milkwise, I actually teach Mindful Breastfeeding 101, where we just talk about the basics, the first 3 days, a few things that you need to know to get you through those first 3 days so you don't feel completely overwhelmed. I feel like moms feel very overwhelmed when it comes to all the things that they need to get and all the things that they need to
Yes.
do. And, you get into this point where you're nesting and you're getting all these opinions thrown at you all the time about like what you should do, what you shouldn't do, which
Mm-hmm.
product to get, and how you're going to parent, and even down to the name that you choose. And we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to give you tools so that you can decide how you want to do it for your family because you know what's best. But having those things thrown at you is so overwhelming. So just a little bit of information to get you through those first 3 days to get you set up for success is really going to help you down the road with breastfeeding. Because if you can get set up with success and do the first 3, 4, 5 days right, or to the best of your ability and to the best
Mm-hmm.
of your situation, you really set yourself up for a beautiful journey ahead instead of, you know, having all these obstacles right away or feeling frustrated and confused and tears and having things go wrong and you're having someone come in and try and correct something and try and fix something that maybe could have been prevented. So having a little bit of knowledge beforehand really helps the breastfeeding journey in the long run.
Absolutely be the because yeah, those first days are just brutal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard and your hormones are crazy and it hurts. Like let's be real, it's very painful if you do it wrong. And I think unfortunately we don't have that mom sitting next to us anymore a lot of times. And at least that was my experience that it was so painful. And I got very lucky that I had a lactation consultant that I actually saw beforehand. And I would love for you to kind of talk about that too. If you decide to move forward with your services when you get matched, if you should actually do it beforehand or afterwards. But kind of to that village, I immediately reached out to my like mom friends that I knew that tried breastfeeding or that did successfully breastfeed and like, how did no one tell me how hard this is? That was my
Yeah.
question to everyone. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to scare you. And I'm like, I would love to have a little bit of like so I don't feel like I'm failing because as soon
Yes.
as you know this is normal and you will get through it and like day by day, you feel so much more empowered to stick
Yes.
to it. Versus if you have no idea, as you say, if you don't even take a course beforehand and you get into it and you realize it and you're just like, I can't do this. This is too much. And it's not working. It's not working, right? Because there's so much to learn what I'm sure your programs will get into with the whole colostrum first and your
Yes.
milk not even coming in. And it's so fast to think as a new mom, I don't have enough milk. I can't feed my baby. This is not working. I'm just going to grab a formula. And it's really hard. So it's beautiful that, you really step in right like when it's needed. So what would you say in terms of the prevention of kind of that overwhelm? Do you usually just say take the course beforehand and then reach out to us if you need it? Or do you recommend that everyone should at least schedule like one appointment?
I do think that it would be great to have established a connection with a lactation specialist beforehand, because if you have a tough time in the hospital, they can be there for you right away and they already know you. They know your goals. They know what you just went through and they can be there for you when you come home from the hospital. Having that prenatal support and being able to talk through what your plan is for feeding, what your goals are, what you really truly want your lactation consultant can help remind you of that and
Mm.
help you to kind of, I don't want to say understand, but like to just remind you that this is temporary. Your milk is going to come in. It's not
Mhm.
always going to be this hard. You're not always going to be this exhausted. You just went through this huge life-changing event where you feel like you got hit by a Mack truck and your body's trying to heal and your hormones are everywhere. Your husband's over there maybe snoring on the couch and you want to just throw your slipper at him to wake up because you're awake too. And there's just all these factors that go into it. And you're having to deal with so much that it's just nice to have someone there to gently say, you're going to be okay. We can get through
Yeah.
this together. And having that established relationship beforehand is going to be very comforting.
Yeah, that I can definitely attest to that.
Mhm.
So what is kind of like a typical aha moment from moms when, like, let's just say they had their baby, they're
Mhm.
possibly dealing with some like issues, it's just not working. What's typical, like an aha moment that you see that clients experience, like when they work with one of your lactation consultants?
When we get that latch,
Mhm.
nice when we get a nice deep latch and they hear their baby swallowing,
Mhm.
just see their shoulders relax and they can breathe. And sometimes you can feel the like tension just ease out of the room and them enjoy breastfeeding for the first time. And they don't feel like they have to be in a structured, awkward position where they're holding this and that. And you get them into a relaxed position where they can sit and enjoy nursing instead
Yeah.
of feeling like so precise and methodical that that is the most beautiful aha moment ever. Just watching a mom actually enjoy breastfeeding for the first time because we got the position, we got the latch, and they can hear and feel that their baby is getting food from them.
That's beautiful. And yeah,
Yeah,
that connection, once it's there, it's really everything.
it
Um,
is.
Yeah. And when you say kind of like when they get that latch right, is
Mhm.
that something that you see a lot that people like have issues? Because that's something that I didn't know at all before going into it, that how how typical, at least it seems like it actually is, that babies have latch issues and it's not working right away.
It is actually extremely common because there's different things that can happen during birth that can actually make it difficult for baby to open their mouth wide enough. They could be sitting in your pelvis a certain way where it tilts their jaw. They could have a little bit of a neck kink in there. It's called torticollis, where they only like lying a certain way. They might not be able to open up their mouth fully because everything's just so tight in here. Or they could have a tie in their lip or in their tongue or in their cheek, making
Hmm.
it difficult for them to flange their lips properly, open up wide enough. But one thing that I like to tell moms is that it's a learning curve. We want to teach them the muscle memory so that they know where their mouth needs to go on mom, so that when they do it, it's just muscle memory moving forward. They're not going to get it right away. It's something that has to be learned, and that's okay. We're learning together, and it's something that we can teach them. So we need to teach them where the breast needs to go. So one of the big things is a lot of the pain comes from when the nipple is too shallow because it's on the hard palate of baby's mouth. And getting
Hmm.
baby to open up wide enough to get the nipple to the soft palate, to get that pulling action instead of the pinching pain, that's when
Hmm.
you can get your best latch. So you really need to make sure that baby's mouth and oral anatomy are able to do that. And if not, we need to do exercises in order to make that happen.
And that's what your team helps with as well, to
Yeah.
determine what's exactly the issue and kind of the next steps.
Yes, exactly. We determine what is happening with the latch by looking at mom's breaths, by looking at baby's mouth, by watching how baby tries to latch. We can actually help with oral exercises to get either baby to open up wider, for baby to allow the nipple to go further back into the mouth. And then we can also recommend things like maybe they need a tongue tie release. If the
Hmm.
tongue is too tight and they can't rhythmically move their tongue well enough to create that suction, we might have to have a specialist take a look to be able to release the tie, to be able to effectively breastfeed. And it can really change the whole course of breastfeeding. It can make the difference between breastfeeding for 3 weeks versus 3 months versus 3 years.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. In your case,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I remember this it feels like this race and this pressure of figuring all that out to do it right. Because on the other hand, it's like your baby's losing weight and it's very scary and stressful as a new mom because yeah, you're
Yeah,
healing and all that. But then on top of it, everyone is kind of just, yeah, but she's losing weight and it's hard. It's very hard, this race to get it right. And
yeah.
yeah, if you're not matched with the right support, that can be really tricky.
It can be. And it feels, like you said, it feels like a race. You need timely care to be able to correct what needs to be corrected. It can't wait a week. It can't
Yeah.
wait 3 days even.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need someone there right now. And that's why it's so good to get care established before you have your baby so that you know what to expect, so that you can have someone there so that they're anticipating it. It's so much easier to do that instead of feeling like you're in a race and you're scrambling and you're trying to put the pieces together, and is insurance going to cover it, or am I going to have to pay out of
Mhm.
pocket, and what do I do next, and what do I just need to feed my baby for this feed, or it's so anxiety provoking, and you have enough on your plate already that you don't
Yeah.
need to deal with that.
How many moms would you say actually are doing that to find the help beforehand and get matched with the right expert?
Definitely not enough.
Okay.
Definitely not enough. Feel like when I'm in the hospital setting, I feel like maybe 5% of the moms actually have had
Wow.
prenatal breastfeeding support with a lactation consultant. And you can see the ones that have.
Mm.
They feel more calm and like, I know something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but this is what I know to do. And then you're there to be able to support them through that and get them through that. And it really can change the whole course of it when you have a little bit of a base of knowledge and have that established care beforehand.
Absolutely. So, where would you say kind of that needs to start to change
Mm.
that? I mean, 5% really isn't enough when you would think it's sort of a movement to really empower breastfeeding, right?
Yeah.
Compared to like back in the days where it was seen as this unclassy thing. It's
Yes.
becoming this new, like, you are doing the right thing. Even the formula companies, it always says breast milk is best. And this like golden milk, everyone kind of relates to breast milk as this like golden milk, golden liquid.
Yeah.
So it's surprising to hear that only such a small percentage really takes the action beforehand. So where do you kind of see where that's a need to change?
I just don't think they know that they can, honest. I
Interesting.
think that it's
Okay.
not like, I think that they're handed pamphlets and said you should breastfeed beforehand, but they're not actually given the resources and the support to do so. They're not telling you, hey, there's this class
Hmm.
or there's this seminar, or you should sign up for this. This is covered by your insurance. Like, moms need to be told sometimes what their resources are available in order to
Hmm.
be able to make it happen, because you're advertised all the time about which baby formula to choose or which stroller to get or which butt cream that you need, but you're never advertised like, listen, if you need support, we're here for you. This is the class that you should take, and your insurance can cover this. So I think moms just need to know that it's available to them. And I do believe that healthcare professionals need to be more proactive about it. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of the hospitals, the OB/GYN offices and stuff, they can give you a big packet of information, but our hospital system can be so strained sometimes where the providers only have a certain amount of time with you. And in order to give you those resources, they really just they hand you packets and they say, here, this is what you need to know. And that's all they have time for. And
Mhm.
it's lovely when they do get the time to be able to sit down and talk through these things with you and to offer the actual resources.
So that's kind of the goal to get in touch with more like OB practices to really start there and educate patients that there is help and then get them in touch with a platform like yours, which is beautiful because still it's up to the patient to find the right match, right? They're not referring them to one lactation consultant. You have a whole platform of lactation consultants to choose from. And maybe you can tell us more about that. Like, what does the process look like for a lactation consultant to be listed by you? Do you have like a certain like interview process? How do they find you? How do you find them so that the moms really feel empowered to come to you knowing they will find the right person instead of in that situation maybe having to experience not having the right person, which again, you're in this race and you really don't want to deal with that in that situation.
Yeah, of course. On our webpage, we actually, all of our lactation consultants are highlighted by their area of service, by the languages that they speak, and also by their care philosophy. When we onboard lactation consultants, I have done every single interview with the lactation consultants to make sure that I know that their care philosophy and their vision is holistic and that they're really trying to look at the whole family unit and mom and help them reach their goals. So I make sure to interview everybody and we talk through things. It really isn't an interview. It's more just like us having a conversation and making sure that we vibe and that our goals align and that, they want to be a part of this team and this thing that we're building and this village that we're building. And so when moms go on there, you can definitely rest assured that these lactation consultants are amazing. They're the best of the best. They want what's best for you. They have a holistic vision in mind and they're going to be there for you and they're going to do something. They're going to be there in a culturally competent, empathetic way. Moms can really search by location or they can search by care philosophy. We also have on their specialties. Some of our lactation consultants are occupational therapists. Some of them specialize in craniosacral therapy or mental health therapy. Some of them really just have a wealth of knowledge on twins or pumps and how to exclusively pump. And so they have those all in their care philosophies, and we love to highlight them and make sure that their knowledge is used to empower moms in the best way possible. So we try and match them with people that are going to fit their needs the best based on what they kind of not like apply for, but put in their information. So when a mom comes to Milkwise, they can look through the website, they can choose a lactation consultant or they can get referred into Milkwise. So one way is for them to organically come to the site, choose a lactation consultant, and then book with them through the site. Another way is for them to get referred and then go through a system where they input their insurance check. And then once they get their insurance checked and verified, they'll get a letter and they will say, this is what you're covered for. This is how many visits you can get. Let's hook you up with one of our amazing providers. And then from there, them and the provider will get in contact with each other and then they'll set up their first meeting. Sometimes too, we have moms that just want to do cash pay because they don't have insurance or their insurance isn't covered. So we do have cash pay options as well. And we do discounted rates for certain situations. And we just want moms to get the care that they need. But we also need to make sure that our lactation consultants are, getting what they need as well,
Yeah.
making sure that they're empowered.
Because it's a lot beyond just lactation support, kind of how you were saying, right? So it's the whole emotional support that goes into it, especially if maybe you don't have your village around you of friends and family to really have that person that checks in with you and sees, are you okay?
Yeah.
Mentally, what do you need? Or even diet wise. I think that
Yes.
that's a big thing too. It's kind of like almost this awareness that you need to eat a lot. You are not only recovering from just this marathon, you are also trying to make milk and you need to really nourish your body and try to get every minute of sleep you can and to just have someone there that reminds you and emphasizes it. And yeah, that just goes way beyond. So the beautiful part about your system is too, let's say I am proactive, I get matched with a lactation consultant that I really love beforehand, but then issues come up that I obviously didn't know before, like my baby doesn't latch, has a lip tie, tongue tie, and you would like to see someone that specializes in cranial sacral therapy. So then internally, they refer each other and make sure that you get the right help. Okay, that's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will just basically do transfer of care where we say you need to see Dorna or you
Mhm.
need to see Angie and we will consult out to them. And then the next visit that you have will be with them.
That's beautiful.
And we're going to tailor to your needs. Yeah. Also, just for all the moms out there, you cannot feed a baby by eating salads and being on a diet every day. We're talking
Yes.
high protein, high fat diets because
Yeah.
fat is what actually nourishes baby's brain.
Yeah.
We are actually partnering with a dietitian who's a lactation consultant to start doing more consultations for nutrition for moms if we see gaps
Mhm.
um, in their nutrition, and really trying to promote rest and hydration and eating good
Mhm.
foods, and the soup
Yeah.
ball.
Yes. The soup ball. Absolutely. I think too, it's just getting the help of having someone postpartum there to feed you. That
Yeah.
I think is like the biggest gift you can give someone, because there is just no time to cook. And if you're really proactive and you have the freezer full, great, but probably not. And so
Probably not.
that's a whole topic on its own that like no one
Yeah.
really talks about it. And it's like it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. So to have one person there, that's beautiful. And it just seems like no matter which direction this path is going to go, there's going to be someone for you at Milkwise that knows what to do, that can help you with your problem and really, yeah, hopefully make you achieve your goal to breastfeed if that is your goal, right? So
Yes.
can you
Yeah.
maybe kind of talk about like, is there like a success rate that you're seeing between women that, originally it's their goal to breastfeed, but they don't know that they can get the help, or they just aren't getting the help and then are giving up, versus the women that have access to this beautiful care and therefore keep going, even though they might have ran into some difficulties along the way, which I feel like almost every mom goes in. I mean, it's I don't know. I haven't heard of one that's like, oh yeah, it's easy peasy, and here we are.
No, no, definitely not. Yeah, it's definitely proven that moms who have help and have support are able to breastfeed longer, especially when they have that help and support right away to be able to establish that relationship with their baby and that breastfeeding bond. So that could come in the view of, family and friends who are there to support her and be that. But like we said, we're so separated from that now. So a lot of times that looks like a professional coming in or a mentor coming in to be able to do that. And typically, right now, we're working on gathering more data as to how Milkwise is helping moms reach like a 6 month goal and beyond. And so since we are a fairly new company, we're about a year out. We that is something that we have been definitely deep diving into to help moms reach their goals of making that 6 month mark, because I feel like that is one of the biggest goals that moms have, is that 6 month mark.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And can you maybe just surely kind of get into that, why you think that's the goal in terms of like what it means for the baby?
Yeah, so a lot of times moms want to get to that 6 month mark because that means that they're able to start solids. And so breastfeeding actually becomes, it's still like the main source of nutrition, but they're also introducing other foods at that point. A lot of times around 4 to 6 months is also when moms start to go back to work. So their menses might return, their job might cause them a lot of stress. They're a lot more active. They're feeling more in their body than what they were before. So a lot of times that milk production stabilizes and um, I don't want to say decreases, but it kind of maintains itself a little bit better, but can decrease because of the start of the menses and because of the start of work and being separated from your baby all the time. So that's a lot of our industrialized society moms that need to go back to work. That's kind of their goal, is to make it to that 6 month mark. If you can make it to a year, it's even more beneficial for your baby. If you can make it to 2 years, it's even more beneficial for your baby. So we want to empower moms to make it to where they want to go, but also give them the okay that, it's okay if you do it for 2 weeks. It's okay if you do it for 3 months. It's okay if you do it for 3 years. You did it. You
Yeah.
gave your baby the best nutrition possible, and you should be so proud of yourself. And if it's too much for you and too much for your family, we also work with moms on plans for weaning and plans for going back to work and plans for, setting up success for pumping at work and having the ability to take the breaks and know what's going to happen to your milk supply when these big life events do happen, so that you don't just need a lactation consultant right away. You don't need them only for that beginning phases. You also need them for going back to work, for weaning. Let's just say that
Mhm.
you get pregnant again and you're going to be nursing two babies. There's so
Oh my.
many different reasons. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
even relactation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different reasons why we're to help. is to get you
Mhm.
through all those major milestones in your baby's development.
That's beautiful. That's something that you can help with as well. Relactation, for example, for moms that aren't able to carry themselves, maybe have to hire a surrogate or adopt or anything like that. You are able to still help them to enable them to breastfeed their babies.
Yes, or
Wow.
even like moms that have babies that stay in the NICU.
Mm,
And
yeah.
sometimes the stress and the pressure of that is a lot on mom's body being separated from your baby, or your baby's so tiny that your body just isn't making milk. We have NICU specialists that really help mom to get on a plan of pumping to be able to produce that milk and supporting the milk production so that there is a chance that baby can breastfeed down the road.
It's beautiful. And I think that's something that, like, it's sort of like there isn't a lot of awareness around it, right? That you can relactate. That
Yeah.
just because if for some reason nature didn't work out the way it's supposed to, and it didn't work from the beginning, that there is a way to get back into it if you get the right help.
And you
That's
might not get like a huge supply, but every drop counts. And I think that that's what matters.
I think that's beautiful too. And that's something that would really encourage moms, especially if you don't have a lot of supply, that to just hear this. It's like, it doesn't matter if you can't fully feed your baby by giving
Mhm.
it a bottle a day. You're just having such an amazing impact for your baby's health and just giving moms that credit. It just seems like
Yeah.
there isn't enough really like education around that every how you're saying every drop counts, which truly is the case, to say it's fine and it doesn't matter and you don't need to be hard on yourself if you just
Yes.
can like do even what do they call it, combo feed, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yep.
So that's beautiful. So also just getting reassurance for that and helping like someone helping to clarify that and putting a system in place on how to achieve that. Okay.
And also, I love to tell moms too that you're not feeding the freezer, you're feeding your baby. A lot of moms really want to create this big, massive stash in the freezer and have this like, it's like gold. It is, it's gold. It's liquid gold
Yeah.
for them. And it's amazing if you can do that. But really, all you need is to feed your baby and to have enough to feed your baby. And that's all you need. You don't need to feed that freezer. That freezer is fine. You can put blueberries in there or something, but it's just need to feed your baby.
It's just every mom's dream, I think.
Yeah.
It's just this like reassurance. It just puts your
Yeah.
body at complete peace to know no matter what happens, this freezer is full of milk. Like I never had that supply, unfortunately. And whenever I hear that, I'm like, it's like this, like, I am so jealous of you. You have no idea. Because it is the funny thing of just, this sounds amazing. You have a freezer full of milk. That's just
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's like the ultimate goal. Just
Yeah,
so
it
funny.
is. It is. It's a really good goal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I never was that mom either. I was always the barely enough mom.
Yeah.
And I would beat myself up over it all the time about like not having that extra just in case. I even had a girlfriend that was like, well, I'm gonna have to give formula because of X, Y, and Z. And I said, no, you're not. Your baby's a year old. They can actually have solids and it'll be just fine. You don't have to have a freezer stash anymore.
Yeah.
But you just get into that mindset of having to have it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this just enough is it's hard. And that's a whole nother
yeah.
emotional part that comes in. And it's just, yeah, it's hard. And I think this whole, like what you were saying, you're creating this village because back in the day it would be like, okay, I don't have enough, but my sister,
Yeah.
my aunt, whoever just okay, can you take the night shift because I don't have enough and just take over for me? And so many moms, on the other hand, have the oversupply, right? That they don't even know what
Yes.
to do with all that milk. And so
Yep.
it just, yeah, it was a lot easier back in the days where you could just
It was
take
hand
turns
off the
and,
baby.
yeah, and be like, okay, you have too much, please go ahead.
I
Yeah,
mean, people still kind of do that. I've known of people doing that today. Some of my
yeah,
girlfriends actually did that because one of them didn't
wow,
have enough milk, so they just shared. Or my husband was fed by his aunts.
beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
incredible.
that's also why, the UC Milk Bank. San Diego has this beautiful milk bank where moms can donate their breast milk. And so you can get, that's another thing that moms don't know. You can get breast
Mhm.
milk from the milk bank and you can give your baby breast milk. If you really don't want to do formula, there's always donor milk. And donor
Mhm.
milk is amazing. And did you also know that you can freeze dry your breast
I actually, funny enough, had another guest on the show that exactly told us about that, about the whole freeze drying your
milk?
breast milk and being able to, yeah, like basically taking donor milk to a whole nother level.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think that that's just so genius, and I'm so excited that that's becoming like possible because
Yeah.
yeah, it is what's best for babies, but it's not always possible for moms to do that. And we are
Mhm.
so hard on ourselves. We already have so much on to carry on our shoulders. So to have other options out there, it's just, yeah, very, very much needed. So maybe kind of getting back into like how if I live in the Los Angeles, San Diego area
Mhm.
and I want to get the help, do I like basically I enter my insurance information. If I don't have insurance, I still come to you and you basically figure out for me how financially I can achieve this. But a lot of insurances cover it that they like maybe you can tell us more about that. Do they cover like the in-home visits? Do they cover like just like virtual visits? Like what does that look like?
So recently they have actually stopped covering most virtual visits, which is a big bummer.
Okay.
So they cover the in-home visits.
Okay.
So typically what they'll do is they'll give you an allotted amount of visits. A lot of times it's six, and you can use those prenatally or you can use those postpartum. So you just set those up with your lactation consultant afterwards. And on the page, you have your own personal page on the Milkwise intake. And it shows you at the bottom how many visits you have left and how many visits that you have already done with your consultant. And then all of the notes from your visits actually get uploaded into your chart. And then they also can get sent to your doctor's office in case there's anything that the doctor needs to know or the pediatrician needs to know.
That's amazing. So it is accessible if you really want to go down that route. There is a way for everyone.
There is a way for everyone. Yeah. And we're really working hard to try and get these insurance companies to, the Affordable Care Act states that breastfeeding support should be covered. But
Mhm.
because of how loosely it is stated, it is interpreted differently by the insurance companies. So United and Aetna are ones that are very proactive and supportive and great access to insurance covered lactation care. But there's other ones that, especially in California, California does not recognize IBCLCs as licensed professionals. So the insurance companies do not cover lactation support because it's not a licensed profession. So they're using loopholes to be able to not cover it, which is very frustrating. But we're working hard to try and, change that and turn that around and show them how much benefit it is to
Mhm.
them to be able to support moms breastfeeding because in the long run, it helps mom's health and it helps baby's health. Helps prevent a lot of things down the road, and it can cost a lot of money to take care of people that get sick. So we're trying to show them the cost benefit ratios and how it can benefit us as a society because it really comes down to numbers for them.
That's beautiful. So your mission is really going beyond taking care of parents, but also advocating for for the whole industry, basically, for other,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's incredible. I really love hearing that. Which is so hard, the ever fight, right? Would you say going into like some like challenges that Milkwise has gone through, would you say that's one of the factors, or is there anything else that's been like holding you back?
I think that that's the biggest factor, to be honest. Insurance has been the biggest factor to be able to move forward because most moms don't have the ability to pay to be able to have a lactation consultant come to their house out of pocket. You just spent all this time and money preparing for baby and, all the baby things, and then you just delivered. So you're going to have a hospital bill, and this is just another thing on top of it. And,
Mhm.
you know, so that's one of the biggest things is convincing these insurance companies that we need to support these moms and we need to be able to offer them care. And IBCLCs are the gold standard for that. Nobody else compares. Like physicians only have a certain amount of hours when it comes to breastfeeding training. So they're not the best equipped to be able to help moms. IBCLCs are. We have hundreds and hundreds of hours of clinical training before we even get into the practice. So it's the gold standard to have an IBCLC. I think another thing that we've noticed is that in order to have patients come to get the support, there has to be the knowledge of the support.
Yeah.
So getting the healthcare professionals to recognize that there's a need for prenatal care and be able to express that to their clients, to their patients, to the women that don't know and that need it the most, that's crucial. And that's been hard because that's a lot of like, you know, it's a lot of communication and
Yeah.
in-person meeting and trusting and making sure that everybody's aligned on the same page, and me going out to offices to talk to people and make sure that, they know who I am. They know that I'm, trying to do what's best for their patients and not just a bot on the other side trying to get them to do something. So it's just creating those relationships so that they know that this care is legitimate and that it's out there, and so that they can disseminate the information to their patients.
That's incredible because even like the knowledge of a breast pump is covered by insurance. I think
Yes.
that itself too, because they're pretty expensive. And to just, yeah, there's not even enough awareness around that, that you don't have to pay, you don't have to put that on your registry. Save it for something else. You can get that covered by
Yes.
insurance to really officially pump. So, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even insurance companies, sometimes they don't let you get them until after you deliver, which is crazy. I think that
Yeah.
that's just painful. But also, what kind of pump to get, because
Mm.
there's not all pumps are created equal, and not
Mhm.
all pumps should be worn for newborn babies either.
Yeah.
And that you need to be sized. And, if you want to exclusively pump, your lactation consultant can come before you deliver to size you for your flanges to make sure that you have the proper flanges to get your maximum output from your pump, because it matters. All those
Mhm.
little details matter. And
It does.
an IBCLC is the one that knows that.
Yeah. And that maybe the ones that they come with aren't perfect for you, and there's additional
Right.
ones you can order. I didn't know that fact
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
And that's, yeah, that's very,
Yeah.
very, yeah. So that, like, is that kind of what's your goal like for the next year for Milkwise,
Mhm.
really? Like, is it to raise more awareness, to get in touch with more practitioners? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's to raise more awareness about prenatal education and getting moms to know what resources they have available and to get them early so that they're set up for success. Because I truly believe that prenatal care and helping mom through the first few days even can really change the whole course of a breastfeeding journey. So promoting that prenatal support, promoting the empowerment of moms to reach out for help when they need it and not feel like they just have to suffer in silence. And then also to expand our village. Like we want to create a presence in Los Angeles and San Diego right now that is, well known and empowering, and we want to be able to offer services beyond just lactation. So I really think growing in the direction of nutrition and mental health and physical therapy, and being able to say, listen, you're having a little bit of mommy's wrist here. I'm going to have Dr. DJ call you so that you can have a consultation with him so that he can help you do some exercises for your mommy's wrist, so that moms aren't having to go out there and look for a physical
Mhm.
therapist or look for a dietitian that they trust. We can say, listen, these are people that we trust. We're going to have them contact you, talk to them. We're going to work something out for you. We're going to get this set up for you, because it's just another thing that moms need to do on top of everything else.
Absolutely. It's a lot. So to kind of quantify that, is there a specific goal for the next year for Milkwise or
I mean, yeah, I think we have some specific goals, but I think we would love to get up to 100 practitioners in our area, and expand to San Francisco. So have 100 practitioners from San Francisco through San Diego. And we would love to be able to get these insurance companies on board so that we don't have to turn a mom away at all, so that everybody can get insurance covered care. Um, and yeah, and I think honestly, the last thing that I forgot that we really have been working towards is getting the support so that maybe we can help moms that don't have any means of getting the support, and just having that, outreach to almost like a fund where we can support them through our own means and help them when they don't even they just have no means of doing it, almost like
That's
a
beautiful.
scholarship fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I can't wait to hear what's next. I can't wait to hear you grow and see you pop up in San Francisco. I'm sure that you'll yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, Whitney. It was an incredible conversation. I'm sure so many moms out there learned a lot about it. Where can they find you?
Just look us up online at milkwise.care or on socials, Milkwise, and we're always there. I'm always checking. I'm always on. So the first person that you're probably going to get in contact with is me. So hopefully I'll get to chat to some of you. But thank you so much, Laura, for having me. I really appreciate it.